Welcome to Protest Nation, where practically everyone has now jumped on the take a knee trend. Athletes, coaches, police officers, students, elected representatives, active duty army officers, Olympians, and of course, celebrities. It's this year's Ice Bucket Challenge. And you know what? That's fine. It's a free country. Protest is at the very core of our republic. In fact, a lot of men and women sacrifice their lives in order for you to be an overpaid baby disrespecting the nation, biting the very hand that feeds you, of course, with federal subsidies. But the side effect of politicizing everything is that people are tuning out. Ratings are tanking across the board. People are turning off their TV sets, burning sports memorabilia, refusing to watch the latest overhyped blockbuster. The question is, when all of the bread and circuses take a knee, forcing everyone to boycott everything, what happens to the empire that requires that distraction? Now, the government literally subsidizes Hollywood and the NFL for this very hypnotic effect it has over the masses. But when those institutions no longer hold sway, the empire will fall.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz, you ungrateful creatures? Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
That's great, you say. That's exactly why we voted for Trump, to drain the swamp. But not so fast, because the deep state resistance has other plans. And if the reporting over at the New York Times is any indication, we might all be being trained to kneel before our captors. Just take a look at what they're feeding their readers now, downplaying the flaws of communism and making an argument for its benefits. They got totally ridiculed for this one. For all its flaws, the communist revolution taught Chinese women to dream big. Forget all the raping, starving, and killing. Cindy's got big dreams now. And this romanticizing of communist China is just the latest in a series of op-ed pieces in the New York Times' Red Century series. Other gems include why women had better sex under socialism. Yes, please tell that to the women in Venezuela who have now been forced into prostitution in order to feed their families. Wow, it never ends. Lenin's eco warriors. Ooh, he killed millions, but boy, he sure did save that planet. Man, that sounds like something that Bill Gates has actually said.
First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
They also say we have the Soviets to thank for Star Trek and its debt to revolutionary socialism. The Soviets supported the Harlem Renaissance, and the Bolsheviks were actually just romantics at heart. Stalin was an inspiration to many Americans. Ah, comrades, those were the days. New York Times, you need to come out with a hat that says, "Make America the Soviet Union again," or for the first time. Now, this is obviously blatant propaganda, and many people have been pointing out that this suits the New York Times. They gave a prestigious perch for one of Stalin's puppets to peddle fake news. For 14 years, Walter Duranty served as the Moscow bureau chief of the New York Times. For years, he denied widespread famine and genocide in the USSR. And well after submitting his works for the Pulitzer Prize in 1932, the New York Times had to admit that his articles constituted some of the worst reporting to appear in the newspaper. Well, that is until this latest outpouring of Soviet nostalgia. Now, suffice to say, folks, we are in this for the long haul. We thought getting Trump in there would change everything. And indeed, the country is changing. We just need to watch the direction it's headed in. In fact, this is the fight the founders warned us about.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.